sometimes being a CEO is usually it's a very privileged job, but sometimes it's a bit of a lonely job.
Oh, you got that right.
So when things are going well, everybody's your friend, everybody's easy to talk to, and it is easy to talk to when everyone's going well, whether you're talking to your board on up or you're talking to your own team. When things are not going well, and I mean, just thinking objectively about my whole career in startups, if you were to add up every hour of every day that you were working on a startup, there's more in the category of things not going well
right.
than there is in the category of going well. And when it's not going well, I think that's when, it's even with a great team, I think it's natural for a CEO to be reluctant to 100% confide in team members.
Yes.
And I'm talking about if things are going bad, like extremely threatening,
right?
You want to protect people to some degree. So there's a reluctance that I think is natural to be completely sharing in very challenging times with your own team. And that's when you would like to have a board that helps. And boy, that's when it, I think, really hits home. When you've got the board that's the board of the pontificators, you are on your own.
I know, right?
You're not getting any help from them. But when you've got the board or the board member that you just described, that no matter what, good or bad times, you feel comfortable to just pick up the phone. It's not so much board member to board member, it's two people talking and get help. Whether it's just a sounding board or you really need advice, then it's during those challenging times that is so valuable. So if you did the work, if you had the good fortune to have board members like that, that's when you really benefit from it. Which, by the way, that's when you really need it, right?
That's when you really need it.
When everything's going great, a board is kind of nice to have, but
that brings us full circle. Great way to end the conversation is it brings us all the way back to the beginning of, and right now, if you're a CEO of a small to medium, if you're a CEO of any business, this week, as we're recording this podcast, it is a very stressful time. And right now is, if you're listening to this episode, right now is when you realize, you need those, even if it's not a real board of directors, maybe it's an advisory board, or maybe it's just advisors or mentors, whatever they're called. Right now is when you want to be able to call and say, hey, listen, I got to make some drastic, super hard decisions in the next 5 days. I just want to talk to somebody about it. Because to your point, being a CEO it can be a lonely thing on a regular good day. It can sure as hell be a lonely thing when you're going through what we're going through right now. So I encourage you.
No doubt.
All listeners need to surround themselves with people they can call, good mentors, good advisors, good board members. It's so critical for your health, physically, mentally, emotionally as a CEO. So the Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.